Alright guys, welcome back. So today we'll be talking about we're being asked to convert temperature from one scale into another. So this is the easy type of question where your professor has a space to trick you. So in a question, if you don't pay attention, he'll be asking you, providing you with temperature in one scale and ask you to do a bunch of things, but he'll be asking you to return the answer in a different scale. And this question will be marked partially wrong if you didn't provide the correct answer, right? So basically, there are three scales we only need to care about. The first one is Celsius, the second is Fahrenheit, and the third one is Kelvin. So let's talk about how each one of them is being defined. For Celsius, it's very straightforward. It's being used as water. So water freezes at 0 degrees C and it boils at 100 degrees C. That is the definition for Celsius. And between these two temperatures, each is being equally divided into 100 spaces. So that's how each degree is being defined. So if you want to go down degree to -1, so you just minus one of the temperature, right? So and similarly, using water, another scale is called what we usually use is Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit is widely used in the U.S. Some people think it doesn't make sense, but it's important because it was one of the first universal standard temperature that's being defined. This was back in the 1700s, where communication was not that easy. So having a universal scale that everyone recognizes is super important for researchers in one country to understand what the other person is talking about in their literature. So, and it's been defined as water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and boils at 212 Fahrenheit. And the temperatures in between are equally being distributed from between 32 and 212, right? So that's Fahrenheit. And the last one is widely used in science is the Cavern degree. So this we have to think about it. So imagine you have a room, right? And this room is being filled of just regular air. And what's going to happen if I start lowering the temperature? Well, at the beginning, you might not notice, but if you lower it enough, it will actually turn this a gas into a liquid. And so what's being happening is that as the temperature is being lowered, the the density of the gas is increasing because the space between the molecules are actually getting smaller and smaller. It's being becoming more compact. So if I continue to decrease this liquid will eventually become solid, right? So if you see, if we can see, so we can find the trend that the lower the temperature, the smaller the space, the smaller the volume, right? So where's the limit? If I continue to lower this temperature, will there eventually be a point where the volume just cannot be lowered anymore? You cannot make it more compact. And the answer is yes. And that temperature is the temperature outside of a planet in the universe, in the space. And that temperature is called the absolute zero. And that's what we call 0 degree Kelvin. All right. And 0 Kelvin is negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. And to the other hand, at 0 degree Celsius will be 273.15 K. So K stands for Kelvin, right? All right, so now let's talk about how you want to do this conversions. So first is between Celsius and Kelvin, the easiest of all three. So all you have to do if you're going for Kelvin to Celsius, you subtract 273.15. All right, so let's say you're at 0 degree, you want to see you're at 233.15 Kelvin, and what is the corresponding Celsius? So 273.15 minus 273.15 is 0 degrees C. And the other way around for Celsius to Kelvin. So what's the Kelvin temperature for 0 degrees C? So it would be 0 plus 273.15. So that would be 273.15 K. All right, so easiest of three. The second one would be from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So because it's a really weird number for Fahrenheit, so there's just this one equation you kind of have to remember. So is if you're going from Celsius, you want to time the Celsius number by 9 and divide it by 5, and you want to plus 32 to this number to get the Fahrenheit. And if you work the other way around, so what's Fahrenheit to Celsius? Well, first now you get so if you see here, you basically bring this 32 to the other side. So this Fahrenheit minus 32, and before you are timing 9 divided by 5, now you're timing 5 divided by 9. So exactly the way back, right? So this is how you calculate it. So equation, you just plug in the numbers. And lastly, how you go from Kelvin to Fahrenheit. And the way is easy. You first go from Kelvin to Celsius, and then you apply this equation we just talked about from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So first, Kelvin to Fahrenheit. So the first thing you want to do is subtract 273.15 to bring this number down to Celsius. And then you do what we just did, time 9 divided by 5 plus 32, right? And then the other way around. So if you have a Kelvin, you have a Fahrenheit, how do you bring it back to Kelvin? Well, you first calculate it as Celsius, right? This is how we go from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And then you just plus 273.15 to bring it up to K. And that's it. It's just easy as this. And there's only 3 ways to do this. Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius, and Kelvin to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Kelvin. That's it. So let's do 2 examples here. Let's say you have a thermostat that has a reading of 10 degrees Celsius, right? And your teacher asks you to convert it to Fahrenheit and also Kelvin degree. So we just do our equation I just showed there, Celsius to Kelvin. So x degrees Celsius plus 273.15, you get your Kelvin. So in this case, your x is 10 degrees Celsius. You plus 273.15, you have 283.15 K, right? Very straightforward. Similar reason, Celsius to Fahrenheit. So you have y degree Fahrenheit equals x degree C plus times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. So let's bring the number 10 in here. So 10 times 9 divided by 5. That'll give you 10 times 9 times 9 divided by 5. That's 18 plus 32. You get 50 degree F. All right? So let's do another question. So let's say your water in your pool have a reading in Fahrenheit, what we usually use, of 72 degree Fahrenheit. And you're being asked to convert it to Celsius and also in Kelvin degree. So your Fahrenheit, we just do the same thing we did. We plug in the numbers, right? So in this case, from Fahrenheit to Kelvin, it's y degree F. So you bring 72 to y. So 72 minus 32 gives you 40. And your 40 times 5 divided by 9, you have 22.22. And this value plus 273.15, you get 295.37 K, right? And similar way from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So you have 72 as your y value. You subtract 32 from it. So that's 40. And you times 5. And you want to divide it by 9. Sorry, there's a 9 missing here. And if you calculate, so 40 times 5 divided by 9, that's 22.2. All right. So that's it. So this is how you do the conversion. I hope this is helping you. And see you in the next one.